Just before I start, while this project is about using the Arduino, it is not about the Arduino. So you don't have to worry about seeing any lines of code or things like that. I'm going to keep it quite simple. I enjoy messing around with software, and I know that really isn't everybody's cup of tea. Anyway, I'll start now with the screen share. This is part of my layout. It's just a station scene. You can see there that there are 3 of these OLED displays which are showing the various information in the station. They're all different. This one is on platform 2, this one platform 3, this one platform 4. The displays are triggered by the presence or absence of a train. Each one of these tracks is part of a separate block. Part to it is fed through a TOTI, and then that continues onto the track. For those of you not familiar with TOTIs, I'll just briefly describe them. The TOTI stands for Train on Track Indicator, and it's a kit you can buy from Merg. And what it does, it senses any current that's been drawn by the locomotive in that block and produces an output. Now, in the absence of a train, the output would be +5 volts. In the presence of a train, it would be 0 volts. So this is just what the Nano likes to see. And that voltage going from plus to 0 is what triggers the station displays. This is the startup from one of the displays. And when I'm writing software, and I'm sure everybody does, it's somewhere in the code, you'll put version numbers, dates, some description of what it is, because this saves countless mix-ups when you have different versions of software running. Anyway, using an OLED is great because there you can put your version number or whatever information you want on the screen. And you'll see that every time on boot up. That then will disappear shortly, and the display now, which is in the absence of a train, will go to a station announcement, which you can see. This is one I picked up in the west of Scotland. It might be different from where you are, but you can easily change this to put any announcement you like. And perhaps in these COVID times, it should really have been something about face masks, but I wrote this last year before that was an issue. That will run around until the train approaches. When the train gets into the block, it triggers that TOTI I was talking about, and that will bring up, there you see, it has just immediately changed to some station information, and there's the train arriving. Now, you'll notice on the display at the top, it has the next departure time, which is Glasgow. It says it's on time. The next line are the stopping stations between here and Glasgow. That'll scroll along. The third line down shows that the next train to come is going to Ayr, but it's been delayed. The bottom bit is the present time, which is 10:06. So this will keep scrolling through while the train is in the station, and it has triggered that TOTI, which is now giving 0 volts out. And it'll run through a variety of different departure times and places that are being called at while the train is in the station. Now, you might have noticed there a slight glitch when it changed. This is something you don't see when you're looking at the layout or the OLEDs directly. I am pretty sure it's a product of the frame rate of the camera not being synchronized to the Nano changing its display. So you get this bit of a glitch, but you can rest assured that you don't actually see it in real life. Now, in a moment or so, the train will depart. Meanwhile, this keeps going through its various departure information. The train will depart. As soon as it's out of the block, you'll see that the station display will revert. I thought it best to do that because if there's no train in the station at all, it's a bit senseless to have it showing departure times. This way, it's just, you always have something moving. And of course, you can have a different, on each platform, it can be given different information. That's entirely up to you. Now, again, the train is working its way around. Here it comes. And again, we'll just stop there. Now, you might be wondering how I can get the train to precisely stop in that position. You see the depth of focus is only, probably isn't a centimeter. So this train is being controlled by DCC, which in turn is being controlled by a C-bus interface, which in turn has been controlled by ROCKRail, which is a German program for automating your layout. So my layout can be completely automated or it can be just partially automated. It depends on just what you're doing. You can have some trains running under automation and some not. So it's quite versatile in that way. And you can see just how precise it can bring a train to a stop, which is good when it's in front of signals or at a station or whatever. So in a moment, the train will move out and you see once again the display will revert back. Okay, there it goes. The lights have just come on, I can tell. Turns around to the right and disappears. And again, the display goes back to, there it goes back to the security announcement. This will continue ad nauseum till you switch the power off. There's your three displays. What I'm going to do now is put a train in here, then in here, then in here. And you'll see that having done that, they'll each go through their station departure times. But because they're being triggered sequentially, when all the trains have departed, this is just a carriage with a flashing LED. It's enough to trigger it. You'll see it change there, and it will change there. So now that the train is gone, it'll revert to the station announcement, but they're not synchronized at all. This one will go first. There it's gone. This one next. There it's changed. And then this one again. So what I've arranged is that this one, when it gets to the end of the announcement, will resync all of them so that they then start at the same time and will then stay in sync till another train reappears. This all, I blame Andy Robb for this. This is the journal that he wrote the article in. You see the little vertical post there. It's very well written, well documented. The parts are 3D printed. And you can just see there, there's a file you can download and print out the different varieties of station announcement receptacles. My friend Robert Wallace has a 3D printer and he printed these out for me. And they're what I'm using just now. It really comes out quite well. Andy used a prototype board to demonstrate, to build his two OLED displays on. If you're going to put this under the board in your under your layout, you really don't want to be using a prototype type of board. It's a waste and the contacts aren't terribly reliable. So what I did was this. I pinched from Davy Dick's EasyBus system. This is the servo driver board and it takes a Nano, which is great because there's all the pins for it. All the connections come out to various headers, voltage, data, clock, whatever it is. If these don't suit, you just cut them with a scalpel, or if they want to add extra, you can just add wiring in to take the various outputs to wherever it is you want them. And you see there on the left, I've just used various headers to connect to the the OLED display. So this is really quite a handy thing to use. I think they're about, I don't know, less than 50p, something like that. There are the pins I've been using. Very cheap, very easy to use. Now, just a quick word about OLEDs. You can see there, they're very sharp, clear, cheap. Unfortunately, the ones I bought, they came as being white. Now, here in the west of Scotland, the displays in the real life are a sort of a yellowy orange color. They might be different from where you are, but this is what I wanted. And this is one of the hardest parts in this project. You have to go out to your nearest supermarket and buy a box of Quality Street, and then work your way through the sweeties till you get the right color cellophane that you want. Now, I know it's tricky, but somebody's got to do it. You find the cellophane, you smooth it out, and you put it between the OLED and the receptacle to give you that nice color. And that seemed to work out quite well. And of course, you've all these sweets to get through, but like somebody has to do it, like I say. This is how I photographed it. This is my XT3 here and a long lens. You can see the OLED display is just there. So this is a 100 to 400 mil zoom lens. I have the cat over here helping me. The cat is very useful. It goes around the layout, chewing the heads off signals. It also, when you come to clean the rolling stock, you'll find your locos aren't running because of the blessed cat hairs. But otherwise, it's tolerated reasonably well. Here's the wiring for it. Not too difficult at all. In my case, I have 3 Nanos, Nano Arduinos. I've called one the master and the other 2 the slave, just because, like I've explained, it synchronizes the other 2. The TOTI here on the right, in my situation, is complicated enough because it's part of the automation. But if you don't have that, it's only a matter of taking this input to be either +5 volts or 0 volts when you want it to change. If you're not going to bother with that at all, just permanently hook the pin 2 there down to the ground, and it'll constantly show you your station display. The rest of it is triggers to get the synchronization right. You can see it's a simple enough setup. The Nano just takes 5 volts here. It also gives out 3.3 volts, which is nice and convenient because we're using it over here on the OLED display. So you don't have to find another source of 3.3. It's already built into your Nano. The same with the second one, platform 3, and on platform 4. Again, all with their detector or switch or whatever going into them. It's up to you to choose. The internet is full of Nano, of these computers. Coming in about £3, I think, is what I paid. Some of them will come with the pins as part of the deal, which makes it even simpler. This is coming in at $246. I think I paid a bit more than that. That's on Banggood, but they're everywhere throughout the internet, Amazon and on eBay. Easy enough to find. They are genuine. They're, I was going to say they're genuine. They're clones, but they're made legitimately as it's an open source license thing. These were the OLEDs. The ones I had were white, hence the search for Quality Street to turn them to a nice shade of orange, but they do come in different colors. So all in all, the 3 Arduinos were £12, 3 for 12 that is, 3 OLED displays, £4 each, and various connectors and stuff, £3. So you see it's coming in there at less than £30, which I thought isn't bad really. So there you have it.